Um, okay, hi everybody. Thanks for making it out today. It's nice to see everybody again. This is the first time I've been back on in 2022, so I'm really happy to have everybody here again. Also, extremely happy to be doing Aerovek and Ryan Dietz, the founder of Aerovek and one of the lead developer on today. I don't know if you remember, we did talk to him in previous times with Elrond Talks, so I'm really excited to see where he is now and what's coming up next. Without any further ado, I'm going to pass you over to Ryan. He's going to say a little bit about 2021 and what's coming next. Then we'll have a bit of a chat and get into your questions. All right, here we go.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I apologize for the audio issues, but I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us and ask questions. Kevin, thanks for having us. It's crazy. It's been a year since the last time we talked, and so much has happened, and we couldn't be more excited to finally get everything out there and launched, and excited for the stuff to come. So 2021 was a lot of brainstorming, coming up with a strong vision of what we wanted to do and how we were going to do it. And so, we built our team and got everything set up. And, I couldn't be more excited for the community growth and all the activity that we've gotten through the wallet now and the lounge and the pilot ambassador program that's, beginning to take off. So, we hit all of our goals that we wanted to hit. And so we're setting pretty ambitious goals for 2022. And I think it's going to be fairly exciting to sit back and watch how it kind of develops and keeps growing here now that we've hit that, that first getting out of the gate strong. So now it's just, maintaining and continuing to come out with good products and build that community. So, we appreciate everybody and excited to see your questions, and we'll go from there.
That's awesome. Sounds like a lot's happened since we last talked, and I've been watching with a close eye, and I'm a huge supporter of Aerovec. I really do think what you guys are doing is groundbreaking, and it's being built on Elrond, and it's a true use case example on Elrond, so it's amazing. Before we get into all the questions, I want to get into a few things. First, I want to talk about your token launch and how revolutionary that was, and how well it actually went. So do you maybe want to just walk us through what it is you did and why you did it?
Yeah, of course. So, we really rolled the dice with this token launch. I've been around the space since 2015, late 15, something like that, and I've seen all these ICOs and all these different types of token launches, and it was important for us to try to develop an organic launch that was not manipulated in any way by the traditional styles of heavy investors, venture capitalists, things like that. So I was fortunate enough to be able to fund the project myself early on. So when it came down to designing our launch, I wanted it to be in a way to where we didn't have any pre-sales, we didn't have any big wallets that got in really cheap, that had the ability to kind of have some nefarious activity during the launch. So we built up the community first. That was important, through the dual staking rewards and getting the token kind of distributed in that way. We had some contests and bug bounties and different things to try to distribute the coin or the token, and all that went really well. So when it came time to launch, it was probably the most nervous I've been, because I haven't seen a project do kind of what we did in the way that we've done it. So not having those pre-investors, not having the pre-sales or the VCs and all that kind of thing, it's a big risk because of liquidity. You don't have a whole lot of tokens out there because of the pre-sales, and so getting initial liquidity, which helps stabilize the price, and it was nerve-wracking. So it was such a relief to see the launch go so well, and in that organic growth, and it kind of took on the shape of the community and the way that it's grown, and we're excited to see where it goes from here. And I couldn't be happier with the team, and everybody kind of pulled together to make it a success. It's not just me, it's everybody. So very appreciative for that.
Yeah, I've never seen anything done this way either. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of nervous at the beginning too for you because
Yeah,
I remember looking at the initial liquidity and being like, oh man, like
it's scary.
this is going to be interesting. But I mean, in the long run, giving your stakers Arrow, you've done a lot of things out there to reward community members with Arrow. I think in the beginning there was a way to get some Arrow just from joining groups and stuff, and
Yep.
it was a very true community based distribution what you did have going on. And then you went live and like you said, there was no whales or VCs out there with a little bit to dump those things. I mean, the listing went 10x pretty quickly, and
Mhm.
now you're somewhere in the general area of 30x from the listing price, and it's holding like very well. You got a good amount of liquidity, and I really do think that it's us as smaller people coming together to support Aerovec as a community-based project, and it worked. And I just want to congratulate you on doing something that it hasn't really been done out there, and isn't subject to VCs. And you've actually made Aerovec exactly what you set out to do back in when I first talked to you on Elrond Talk. So congratulations on that. And I think
Yeah,
from
thank you.
from everyone, we're really proud to have you at the helm and someone who believes in true financial inclusion and community there with us. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's really important to us to stick by our values. For us, they're not just keywords or trying to get clicks. It's we truly believe in this stuff. We know the toxic side of crypto, and it's unfortunate, but it's a part of the game. It's still the wild west out there. But that's what makes it so fun and exciting. But it doesn't mean that we can't lead it towards a direction of holding your values and being honest and transparent. Elrond shares that kind of mantra, and that's kind of what fired that spark underneath us was seeing them come out with the way that they promote themselves and the values and all that kind of stuff. It aligns with us perfectly. So it was a match made in heaven, and we wanted to continue to carry that torch and try to set an example that crypto doesn't have to be this manipulated kind of toxic space like you see in other blockchains and other areas. So hopefully, we can help guide some other projects that want to do it this way, and we're happy to help out and offer any kind of advice that from things we've learned, and hopefully it'll continue on.
Yeah, and I'm almost positive it will. I mean, this is just the first proof that community holds more power than all that other underhanded crypto stuff that we all know all too well.
Yep,
And yeah,
100%.
and I think it comes down to that Elron ethos that brought us all kind of together, right? And you're seeing all these other projects that are doing a lot of the community based stuff as well, and a lot of the NFT projects are kicking back to their users, and it's starting to build, and it's just it took every one little person out there to do their part and just go out and take the risk. And now that people are seeing that it actually works, here we are. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
so with all that, you also launched your own wallet, and
Yep.
with that, your own staking, and that's just becoming insanely popular. And do you want to talk a little bit about how well that's going, and maybe some things like the DDoS attack you might want to talk about for a minute in that as well.
Yeah, sure. For us, everything is in succession. Everything we do is because it's going to lead to something else. And so the wallet is at the core of everything we're going to do. So therefore, it needed to be launched first. It it's going to hold all the future functionality. It's going to be kind of wrapped around that wallet. So, from the business portal to the lounge to the DAO, everything's going to be kind of seamlessly integrated into that. So it's important to get that out, get it, fully tested. And, we've been blown away by the support and the amount of activity it's gotten. I think today we hit over that 5 million cap that we had initially set, but it couldn't have gone better. So we're so thankful to the community for, supporting it and joining in and, having fun with it. So, to the DDoS attack, I think most people out there saw my tweet storm that I'd finally had enough, and I felt it right to be transparent with the community about what's going on. We've been under attack for the last 3 to 4 months in different ways, trying to attack databases, which we only use databases to store basic data that helps user experience, like is a user using an NFT for a profile picture, or kind of um, pointless data like that, but it speeds up the user process because you don't need smart contracts for that kind of thing. So um, I think over the course of the 3 to 4 months, it just got to a point to where the DDoS was the last kind of ditch effort, it seemed like. And so the moment the wallet launched, that's what happened. We were getting millions of hits an hour, and it was slowing down load times and making the user experience really bad. So um, I got frustrated and finally had enough. So I said, well, let's get the community involved and let them know what's going on, because we obviously don't want them to think that our stuff doesn't work, right? I mean, that's not a good look, and that it's frustrating for us just like it is for them. So so I think it was good to get out there and let everybody know kind of what's going on and what we're doing about it. And since then, everything stopped, and we've gotten back to normal, so we can focus on building and moving forward. So that's what we're going to do.
That's awesome that it stopped. Goes to show
Yeah.
the power of the community, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and what's the ability that I think the key takeaway there is also how you've built how you've built the app itself. Is you've built it so that it's basically any vulnerable or sensitive information can't really be affected by attacks of that nature, because you don't house a lot of that stuff in the database. And I think it's a key takeaway for any developers out there in the Elrond space, or for that matter, the crypto space, is to try and lessen the amount of information that you store in the DBs, because those will be the first things that get attacked. So for me, seeing all your tweet storm, first it's made me scared of you. Not, but no, just kidding. But it's kind of it was good to see, and good to see that the steps that have been put in place, of your app in itself. So in a way, it was kind of a positive negative news event too, right? Because it kind of just
Yep.
tested you, showed you how powerful and how good of a dev you actually are. So good work with that, and hopefully to all those DDoS hackers out there and all those scammers out there, hopefully this is one example of how our community's strong, and we'll come together to try and squash you if we can. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the wallet isn't just our wallet. It's everybody's. They use it for generating income, for transferring funds, for NFTs. I mean, when they're attacking the wallet, they're not attacking us. The way we look at it is they're attacking our community, and that's where I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to fight back with everything I have. When they're attacking a database or something, it's different. But now that the wallet's launched and it's a true DApp, I mean, it's 100% on the blockchain. So I don't know what they're going to accomplish by trying to do it, but I think that's why they just tried to make the site not load so nobody could use it and try to make us look bad. But the community rallied together, and I think it actually helped us, and we grew stronger and we're fully transparent. So luckily it subsided and we can move forward.
good stuff. All right, so we'll have one more. I have one more quick thing before we get into the rest, and just maybe the social milestones and that you've had over the past little while, and maybe just a bit of chat about what the community actually means to you, and what you've done actually to grow the community. Maybe some insight to why you did things the way you did. And I saw today you've reached 3,000 Telegram members, and that sort of stuff. So all that's engaged members. So I think maybe a bit of word on that would be good as well.
Yeah, I mean, for us, everything starts with a community, and the community is built through the social aspects, Telegram, Twitter, and so on. We wanted it to be organic growth. We're not trying to buy followers and things like that. We want people that are actually interested in the project. So, knowing that, we were afraid that it was going to be tough because we're not doing airdrops and we're not doing, all the typical kind of things that most projects do, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, to each his own. We just wanted to do it a little bit different. So, 14,000, I think, Twitter followers now, which is mind blowing because It's all organic. It's people that are here for the project and nothing else. We're not here to get freebies, or I mean, some may, but they know that we're not doing that kind of thing. So that's exciting to see. The Telegram is awesome. I mean, the amount of engagement we get in our Telegram channel from it's it. I haven't seen it in other channels. You know, Elrond is similar, but other blockchains and other communities, it's a lot of what's in it for me kind of attitude, and we don't have that. We have what can I do to help, and so it's a complete 180 to what we're used to, and I think that's the most exciting part. And so we're going to expand that. We've been working with Crypto Samaritans, and we're going to start a philanthropy kind of division to work with them and try to give back. And they've got some cool stuff coming. I was talking to Mary, and they've got, I think, Everclear that's going to start doing concerts, and I think Southern California is what I heard. So, it's really cool to see crypto get real, right? We live in this technological space, in this bubble where everything's on Twitter, and when you can get outside of that and you get in the real world and go to concerts, and like the Nogin Con, something we're super excited about, and working with Nogin, you're making it real and tangible. And I think that's something that's really needed in this space to bridge that gap and to gain adoption, is have some real world, real life kind of experiences. So we're super pumped about that. That's going to be coming this year. We're going to be involved with as much of that as we can, and keep growing our community by, shaking hands and meeting new people, and seeing what we can do to make their lives better in the aviation space, and as well as the philanthropy side.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's great. And I guess while we're talking about the philanthropy side and the crypto Samaritan, today the Ryan Dietz or Rock Whiskey, whichever it's called, NFT is dropping today on Dead Rare, and we have a quick preview. So I'll just go over to that real quick. Pretty sure you guys can still hear me. So there's the preview of the NFT. It's awesome. I like it. What do you think about it?
Very cool. It's unique, and I love unique. I think I'm going to, I'm not one of those people that likes to see myself. I hate, kind of pictures of myself. Anybody that knows me knows that I kind of run from the camera, but I think they did an amazing job. It's the uniqueness and the cleverness behind the artwork. Those ladies are extremely talented. So I'm probably going to have to frame that one and put it up in the office somewhere next to the NFTs, other NFTs that I'm fans of. I thank them for recognizing me. I mean, it's a huge honor. Those ladies are some of the hardest working people in the business. So for them to have time to come do that, it's amazing. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is awesome, and what they're doing is incredible. And Crypto Samaritans' goal is to feed people out in the world who need food. So when you buy this, that money will also go towards feeding the hungry. And one other thing is, oh right, and anyone who does buy it could win one person will win 1,000 Aero.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah. So I think one NFT purchaser will randomly win a 1,000 Aero as well. So today, Dead Rare, it gets minted, I believe. So watch the Crypto Samaritans, and one of you will win 1,000 Aero as well.
Very exciting.
So that's that. Okay. So let's get into some questions. If anyone wants to ask questions, you can leave them now. I have a list here already that has came from the community. I've been asking around, Ryan's been asking around, and I kind of just scraped Twitter and found any of your questions that were out there. So I'll start going through those. But also, please, if you have any questions, just leave them there in the chat, and we'll get to them. Okay, so first question, what's the adoption goal for Aerovec in 2022?
So the biggest focus for us in 2022, I think is the same thing I'm most excited about, is our pilot ambassador program. We've been thinking about this a lot lately, and we think it's the future of Aerovec, because when we talk about decentralization, it's just one of those keywords that a lot of people like to throw around, but we truly mean it. And so our pilot ambassador program is our board of directors. It's It's a group of professional pilots, any professional in the aviation industry, whether it's a mechanic or traffic controller or whatever. They're going to help shape our future. So in order to get that adoption, it all starts with them. So our goal is to obtain 1,000 professionals in the ambassador program in the first 2 years. With very little effort, we've hit, I think, 40 members so far. We've set our founders. There's 13 founding members, which are, our core group that kind of helps keep things organized and welcoming in new pilots and things of that nature. So that's all going to be based around the DAO. They're going to have their own DAO to make decisions based on future Aerovec functionality, watch the laws and regulations around the aviation industry, and make sure that we're compliant in what we want to do. But that's going to be a very exciting program to watch grow over this next year. And that's one of the big use cases for the Aero token is that DAO, because it costs Aero to make proposals and to vote, but it acts as staking, and those pilots earn rewards from engaging in that DAO as well. So that's going to be one side of our new DAO. The other side is for the community, things they want to see. So it'll be broken out into different phases and different stages to keep it organized and focused on whatever the task is at hand. But that's going to be the biggest growth I think we're going to see is the professional pilots coming on board.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what about users and just specifically your mission to bring users to crypto and through Aerovec?
Yeah, so the users, I think our goal for 2022 on that side is going to be tapping into the U.S. We've got a great following in the Europe side of things, in Romania. We don't want to be just in a bubble. We want to bring on new users, and not just new users to Aerovec, but to crypto in general. I've always really liked what Benjamin has said about it's a non-zero sum game, and so we're going to put together a lot of educational material, and we're hiring a director of communications to kind of head this department up. But we've got a lot of plans to go after young pilots and older professionals that aren't into the crypto space at all yet. Provide educational content to get them to kind of get more comfortable with it, and provide a path for them to ease into it, I guess, in a way that doesn't make them feel like they're out of place, because crypto can be a little intimidating at first.
Yeah, it's just a little. For sure. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. Do you have any new features that you're working on? I know you're always working on new features, and you're always coming out with something out of your hat. But is there anything you can share with us today that you're working on?
Yeah, so the main focus right now is finishing out the dashboard. The dashboard's going to encompass the lounge, which we're rebuilding from the ground up. When we first built that, it was before we had the smart contract kind of functionality down, and I was still kind of taking myself to school on that. But we've got to the point now where we really understand it, and I think there's a great use case for the lounge to be moved over to the smart contract side, as well as user accounts. And all that stuff that we've had built for the past year, all that's going to get rebuilt and incorporated into the new wallet. So that's kind of our first step, is to get all that done and get all that launched. As well as the DAO will be incorporated in the wallet. So that's the immediate focus. From there, we've got a new platform that we're working on that's centered around the ATIP token that we're super excited about. I'm not going to give too many details on that now, but in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be slowly kind of bringing out the new information on that and how it's going to interact with Aerovec, and it's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Cool. I'll get into the ATIP questions real quick now, just since you mentioned ATIP, because we do have a few of those. So it's already got utility, right, and people can use it in the Aerovec lounge. So what you said, what you'll be doing is you'll be revamping that lounge and bringing to the smart contract stuff, and there'll be some other features available. So people are wondering is how will it be listed?
Yeah, so we haven't finalized how we're going to do the ATIP listing yet. We want to do something unique in a way that, like we did with the Aero token. We don't like to do just the same old thing every time. But it will be listed on the DEX when it's ready. We're going to do some unique things where it'll interact with Aero token specifically. But all that's coming soon. I'd say in the next 30 days, all that information will be coming out, and people will see why we've been a little quiet on it, because it's a pretty groundbreaking. I hate using that term, but it really is in what we're trying to do. And Aerovec's a very specific niche, in the aviation marketplace, in the aviation space, but ATIP is more in a general category of its own. So it's not going to be necessarily aviation related. It's going to be more for the masses. But that just means that we've got to work extra hard, because the adoption to it is going to be like a wildfire.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, and I'm excited to see what it is. And I think everyone else is really excited. So we can expect, liquidity pools, potentially staking, or some other magical Ryan thing out of the hat that makes it special. So that's awesome to hear. So that's really all the questions that were about ATIP. And I think for anyone out there who's wondering, just stay tuned for the next 30 days, and you're gonna learn a whole lot. Um, so we have one person. All they're wondering is if they'll be able to mint Aerovec NFTs using Aero.
Yes, that's something we're working on. And that's without getting too far into it. ATIP will play a role in that as well. But we have a lot of the functionality kind of built out for that. Now it's about how do we want to implement it? How do we want to roll it out? How do we want the user experience to act? That's something that we're kind of still brainstorming, because I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and we don't want to miss it. Elrond gives us a great stack of technology to work with through smart contracts and different methods. So we're going to do something extremely unique, in the true Aerovec fashion. We're not, we don't like just following other people. We like to try to innovate as much as we can. So there's going to be some exciting stuff with NFTs coming up and SFTs that's going to be surrounded around the Aero token and ATIP token. And all that will kind of come out at the same time here in the next 30 days or so.
Nice. Do you want to explain to the people what a SFT is?
SFT is basically an NFT with a different. You can have multiple, I guess, is the easiest way to say it. So an NFT is unique. There's one. It's got a balance of one token. It's its own token. SFTs, you can have multiple, just like an ESDT token. You can mint 100 of them and send them out, or treat it just like a normal crypto token. But it's able to be have multiples, to where NFTs are singular.
Yeah.
I guess the easy.
Yeah, the way I explain it to people is SFT is like a concert ticket, where
Yep.
you can get an SFT, and then afterwards that SFT doesn't really do anything anymore. It has an expiry date. So a really good use, it can have an expiry date, but a really good use case for SFTs that I like to tell people too is, let's say I were to hire someone and I give them a 1 year contract. I can actually give them an SFT that pays them their funds right up till the end of the year, and there's no HR issue of where HR pays them by accident, HR misses their payment. It's all connected within this SFT and smart contract, and you can actually have them just expire, and then they become useless. So
That's a great point. That's a great way to look at it.
yeah, yeah, it's just a good way to do multiples and to actually put on expiries and that sort of stuff. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think everybody's so used to NFTs and the way they interact. The SFTs aren't that different, but you brought up some great points on what makes them unique, and utilizing that part of it, I think, can open up a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, for sure. It can, and I think I actually believe in NFT utility and SFT utility more than I do the art side of things. I obviously love the art side of things a lot. I'm not saying anything bad about that. Just don't quote me on that. But I actually do believe the utility side of NFTs and SFTs are actually a lot stronger. I mean, all your liquidity tokens in the DEX are NFT transfers, right? I think the LPs are technically NFT, or there's something like that. they're they're done that way. So you'd be surprised how much NFTs actually play a role that isn't just art. Okay, so
Yeah, great point.
next question. So there's one. What is your best timeline for when we can see pilots listing their services through Aerovec?
That's a great question. Initially, that was going to be one of the first things we worked on, but we kind of took a step back. And like I mentioned earlier, everything we're doing is in succession. We need one thing in order for the second thing to work. So if you look at our roadmap, that's how it's structured. Everything there's a reason behind everything we do. We're not just throwing darts, but everything starts with the wallet, because in order to do the pilot, the flight charters and the business portal and things like that, they need a wallet, they need a payment system, they need all that kind of structured. So that's why we're pushing the wallet first. Then we're going to go to the DAO and get that structured. So we have decision making going on, and I can kind of relinquish my control as a central authority, because I don't want to be a central authority for Aerovec in the long run. I want the pilots to be, because who knows better what pilots want than pilots. So that's the goal there. And once that DAO is kind of structured, then we're going to start focusing on that flight charter and that business portal and marketing services for pilots, to where we give them the control to market their services and go after their customer base. We're giving them that foundation to do so. And I think it's really important to have all these steps kind of in place in order to do that, because you can't put the cart before the horse. And I feel like if we were to try to do it now, there's still too much that needs to be done for it to be successful. And for the same reason, the marketplace comes out last. It's I kind of say this to the team all the time, but it's the old chicken and the egg problem: is how do you get users without content, and how do you get content without users? And if you're going to go list a marketplace just dry like that, you're not going to have a lot of people posting jobs, because you don't have a lot of eyeballs on it, and you're not going to get eyeballs because not a lot of people are posting jobs. So solving that problem is very difficult for a lot of social media companies and different projects. But that's where the lounge came from. The lounge was put there to start getting engagement from pilots and aviation enthusiasts. And so now that that's built up to over 2,000 members, and we can go to the next step, and which is the DAO and getting that structured. And then once that's in place, then the sky's the limit. We'll be able to do a lot of cool stuff.
Sky is the limit, right?
Yeah.
Um, no, I think you're spot on all of that, and it's something that in my own business, I've been very specific about, is just taking things step by step, doing things properly, and not jumping to conclusions, and just hoping that it works. Especially in crypto, I think the thing with crypto is, like, we do know regulation is a thing that's always looming, and it's happening. So you're better off always making sure every step of the way is done properly, got the check mark, it has your insurances, your licenses, whatever you need to move forward. Because if you don't do that, it's that one thing you miss, or the one shortcut you take, that's gonna take you down.
Yeah, definitely. It's a tough business, and I come from the Web 2 space. I had a tech company that we started, and I left to essentially do nothing. I wanted to retire and spend time with the family and all that, but that's what taught me that you can't take shortcuts and you can't jump to the finish line, because it's going to catch up with you eventually. And so, I think it prepared me very well for how to kind of structure Aerovec and let it run, by taking the proper steps to make sure the community was there for the support, the engagement was there for the product, so we can start launching a lot of this cool stuff that I think will hopefully revolutionize the private aviation industry.
Yeah, well, I think you're already doing it, but yeah, it's definitely going to make a difference. And yeah, it's just great the way you're doing it. Okay, so we have a question about staking now with the original 5 million cap and issuance. So one person is asking, so now that we're past the original 5 million cap, are you going to reduce the APR or extend the original 10.1 million issuance?
Yeah, so this is a fluid situation. The one thing that we're watching and waiting for is the farming pools to open up on the decks, the Meyer exchange. So everything's put in place to support the community until that farm is launched. And then we really want to promote the Meyer exchange with the farms and liquidity, because liquidity is really important for the overall health of the ecosystem, and we don't want to compete with that. That's not our goal or intention at all. So what we're doing now is we're giving people a place to go with their tokens to earn some extra income and have that revenue source there. But everything will likely change when the farm launches, and the changes will be made based on that farm. So, it's not that we're going to rip the APR away or, lower the cap back down or anything like that. We're just going to be open to what the farm's going to offer, and then have something that complements that, not competes with it. So, stay tuned. We'll definitely give everybody notice before we do anything. We're not going to just wake up one morning and make a change. But, the DEX is important for us, and it's important for the Elrond ecosystem. So we want to promote that and get liquidity on the DEX. But until that happens, we're trying to build tools to allow the community to, earn that extra revenue stream and have a place to put their tokens and have fun with the wallet and their NFTs and all that kind of stuff.
Great. Yeah. The next question was just about, do you have any surprises or anything that's going on? And you've already kind of answered that about, next 30 days with ATIP and stuff. But we do have some people asking about, partnerships in the near future. Are you going to partner with other projects? Do you have any partnerships in the crosshairs, etc.?
Yeah, so we truly believe partnerships, just build strength, but it's got to be the right partners. Nogin, obviously we're big fans of theirs. I'm personally a huge fan of their artwork and the way Josh goes about business. He's world class. So that's a strong partnership for us. We're going to continue to grow that. We have some things we're working on behind the scenes together that I think is going to be pretty exciting. But future partnerships, we're always open to anything. We don't want to just partner to partner. That's not the goal here. But if we can complement each other, excuse me, in certain ways, then yeah, we're open to everything. We do have some talks ongoing with different aviation companies and projects that are maybe outside of Elrond or not in crypto at all. We want to build a bridge that brings crypto and aviation together. And the way we're going to do that is through strategic partnerships. So nothing that I can announce yet, but yes, there's some stuff in the works that's coming.
Awesome. I don't doubt it. But yeah, I want to just touch on the subject of partnering for the sake of partnering. That's a real problem in crypto. And you being from 2015, me from 2017 in crypto, you see it all the time. You get people who go out. There's even like they're constantly partnering, saying they're going to do stuff with people. They get hype and then they rug or they pull, or there's a lot of stuff like that. So as well in Helios, we choose our partnerships very wisely to either things that fall in line with our ethos that we can help with, or things that are going to better the community for us as well. I don't really like just slapping on a logo on my website to say or that sort of stuff. So that's good that you also feel the same way.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a lot of people just fill up their stuff full of all these different partners and all that stuff, but it's really just kind of air, and it doesn't really do anything for the future progress of the project. It's kind of just a marketing ploy, which to each his own, like I said, but that's just not something that we're interested in.
Yeah, it helps token holders and pre-sale. That's all it does.
Exactly.
Which isn't who we are. So the John just had a question there. How long is the staking for right now?
So the staking in the Aero wallet?
Yeah.
So how long is it going to last?
Yeah. What's like? How long is it supposed to be for?
It's forever.
Forever.
We have no plans to take it down. Yeah. The rate will be adjustable based on market conditions and different things that we're doing. But there always will be staking in the Aerovek wallet. We've accounted for that in the tokenomics, so we think it's a very important part. It comes in line with Web3 and DeFi and everything in the ecosystem that people are interested in. It's we're really trying to disrupt the traditional world of finance and all the like Wesley always says, the bad things that go on in that world. So when you cut out the middleman and you allow people to earn for themselves, it's really powerful. And so our staking isn't just us throwing money in there so people can take it out and do what they want. There's the DAO funds will all go into the staking contract, among other things that, excuse me, are being developed. But it's meant to be reciprocal in a way that it feeds itself, from all the DAO tokens and all the investors and things they do to participate in the Aero ecosystem. That will go in the staking pool to then reward the investors that are engaging. So that's what's going to be exciting about it. And the rate will probably become variable or dynamic based on the amount of tokens that are being used through the ecosystem at some point. But until we get there, the Aero Foundation is going to support the staking, and we understand that it takes a little bit to get going off the ground. So that's why we want to have that introductory rate to get people something to do and a way to earn. And once the ecosystem kind of takes on a life of its own through the DAO and everything else, that'll kind of become that dynamic APR.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, so do you guys plan to have only private airports, or are you going to partner with public airports?
Yeah, any private or public, it doesn't matter to us. We're not going after the commercial crowd, really. That's not really our thing. We want to promote the smaller private pilots and private airports and things of that nature. So through the business portal, pilots and airport managers will be able to build a profile around their business, whether it be flight instructors, charters, or the airport services themselves. They're going to have a platform to get out there and put their message out. Similar in a way, how Google operates is Google allows businesses to have their own kind of face page, in the search results and things like that. That's how we look at Aerovec. Aerovec is just another form of Google, essentially. It's a search engine that allows peer-to-peer interactions. We're just giving them the foundation and the tools to do so. So we're all about promoting and allowing them to earn a living through our platform with zero fees. And Aerovec's not going to charge any fees for any of these people to interact. That's not really what we're about. We want them to be successful. We don't feel like we need to take a cut from that. So that's going to be something that's really important towards the end of 2022 as we start rolling that out.
Awesome. Are there any other plans for Aero to be listed on any other exchanges?
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to go after the decentralized exchanges first. Centralized exchanges are, they're great too. We've got plans to do like KuCoin and different things, but first of all, we've got some partners that we're working with to get the token launch on some other areas. So all that's going to be coming out soon. We're big fans of some of these other Elrond projects that are building this decentralized ecosystem. So we're going to do whatever we can to support them and get the token out there and get it distributed to as many people as possible to help stabilize that growth and allow it to be organic.
Great. That's awesome. Let's get into some of the travel questions. There's some stuff about just flights in general here. So we have, will international flight be possible with Aero?
I think the easiest way to answer it is everything is possible, right? We're not saying no to anything. Now, regulations, laws, that's going to be up to our ambassador program and how they think that's going to be possible. I'm not the best person to speak on aviation laws and regulations. I'm a student pilot and barely at that. So, I don't have time to focus on, finishing my training or learning all the laws and regulations. I think it's better for the professionals to kind of do that. So the way it kind of operates is we come up with ideas of things we like to do. For instance, international flights. We'll throw it at the ambassador program, which is, again, our board of directors, and they'll say, okay, it's either possible or it's not. And if it is possible, this is how you're going to have to do it and go about it. And so we're going to kind of take it from there and see what they will allow us to do, essentially.
Awesome.
But, as far as I'm concerned, nothing's off the table. I think it's just as important as flying, just a half hour away to go skiing.
Yeah, good point. So what are the expected costs versus centralized flying? I guess I don't know if you want to call this decentralized flying, but I guess it is. Yeah, kind of.
It's peer to peer, right? It's as decentralized as you can get, as far as I can imagine. But you know, the cost is very variable because there's so many different types of aircraft and all that. But I mean, if we want to talk in general terms, I fly around in a Cessna 172. It's an awesome little aircraft. It's inexpensive. I pay about $150 an hour to fly, and it's, you know, a lot of people think that private jets and that's the only way to go, and it's $10,000 an hour, which it is, and that's cool and all, but that's not the average person. So, you know, up until this point, the general consensus was I can't afford to fly, you know, and so I go fly commercial and it's cheaper, and I go through TSA and I deal with all that, you know, fun stuff and throwing away my shampoo. And so what we want to do is, you know, there's a lot of private pilots that have these Cessnas and these smaller aircraft that are fairly inexpensive to fly, and we want to promote that and show people that it doesn't have to be really expensive. And you know, they burn really clean aircraft fuel, and you know, versus a car. If a car is going to drive from Northern California to Southern California, that's 8 hours in the car at least. To where, you know, you can hop in a Cessna and be there 3-4 hours, something like that. So you're cutting the time in half, and you know, it's not carrying a lot of weight. You're not going to throw all your luggage in there, and you know, all the buddies and all that kind of stuff. But you know, you and the wife can go on a nice, you know, trip to the coast or something like that, or you and a couple friends can go, you know, snowboarding up in Tahoe or something like that. And I think it's going to open a lot of doors that people didn't know that they were there to begin with. You know, that's what it was for me. You know, when I started flying for little business trips and things like that, not only is it a thrilling, exciting experience to fly in a Cessna, you know, if you like roller coasters and all that kind of stuff, it's definitely a must do. But like I said, the cost is very, very affordable compared to what most people think in jets and things like that.
Yeah, the Cessna experience. So I was an air cadet as a young kid or teen, I guess. So we went up in the Cessnas and gliders and stuff, and I mean the gliders. You want a roller coaster experience? Go up in a glider, and they'll do a roller coaster for you in the air. The Cessnas, yeah, they're fun too. It's the sound that always got me. You have this like, because there's no pressurization in the Cessnas, right? It's just you feel the wind, and it's like it's exciting, and once you get used to it, it's actually really peaceful too, and I've always really enjoyed it.
It's a very raw experience, which, you know, it's hard to find stuff like that nowadays. And
It is.
you know, I try to just go up and fly around just for the fun of it, and it's peaceful and exciting, and it's something everybody should try.
For sure. Yeah, I think, and like you said, I mean, just a little while ago, I paid for a cab from an airport to a mountain. That was a 3.5 hour drive, and you know that cost me, say, $500 for two people, round trip. So that's 250 each way, and you know, potentially I could have got a plane for the same price, and for half the time. So it's actually, I never even thought of it that way. Being able to just, instead of taking these long van shuttles, you could theoretically just get in a plane. Cool. So there's another one here, and this is an interesting one. Are you guys planning any collaboration with like a light aircraft manufacturer? So like, do you think you'll ever have like a Aerovek Cessna line?
So, very good question. That's something I'm definitely interested in. I've been putting out feelers since, you know, I think before I even announced Aerovec was going to be a thing. There's a couple companies I've spoken to a few times. We've jumped on calls and talked, you know, a little bit about this, that, and the other, what's possible. I've looked at different types of aircraft that we could jump into. I'm a big fan of the electric. You know, I think technology's not exactly there yet, but it's coming quickly. The personal drone flying experiences are coming. So I think there's a door open for us to get into that. But we don't want to do too much at one time. You know, we don't want to just say, oh, we're going to do this, this, and this, and throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. We want to be methodical about how we go about things to ensure the success of it. You know, a lot of projects in the crypto space in general will just throw a lot of stuff out there. Oh, we're going to do this to try to get people hyped up, you know, without really any intentions of actually doing it. So that's not us. If we say we're going to do something, it's because we've already thought it through and planned it. So this is something that's high on my priority list. I just don't know exactly how we're going to go about it yet. So as we learn more about that, we'll be fully transparent with the community and get their thoughts on it. I think it's something that's definitely exciting for us to jump into.
Yeah, yeah, that would be kind of cool, knowing that, you have your own little line of Cessnas or line of electric aircraft as well. So, it'd just be cool to go get my Aero. Um,
Yep.
so I think that's cool. So, great that's in the works. There's another one, an interesting question here. What will be the relationship between Aero call signs and Myar hero tags? Will you be able to make payments using call signs from the Myar wallet as well, or will call signs be restricted to the Aero wallet only?
Yeah. So call signs, they work in the same way that the hero tags do. But the call sign is it's a unique term to aviation. And we, uh, we wanted to do something that was unique to us. So the call sign, in the same way that the hero tag works, will allow everybody to. I mean, it does now on the wallet. You just type at whoever call sign you want to send to, and it shows you the profile picture, so you know who you're sending to and all that kind of cool stuff. But that's going to expand into the payment portal, the business side of things. Everything that we do will be kind of focused on that call sign for users, because it's really important for us to make everything we do not look like it's on the blockchain, right? I mean, if you want to bring in a new adoption of users that aren't into crypto, you can't have this huge barrier of entry, like a lot of crypto projects do. And that's, again, something that we align with Elrond on is make it user friendly, make it, like email. You don't know you're using SMTP and all that kind of stuff when you're using your email. It just, you click something, you put somebody's name in, and you go. So that's our main focus, is to make everything as smooth and simple as possible. So the whole onboarding process will involve just creating that call sign, which gets stored on the blockchain, and then everything you do from there on out will be utilizing that call sign. So, as a pilot charters a flight for a member, you have a QR code, you just scan it there, you type in the call sign, and similar to Venmo and PayPal and all that kind of stuff, and you trust now. That's the goal right there, is to make it as user friendly as possible, to where even my grandma doesn't have to understand what blockchain technology is to use it.
Yeah, and terminology plays a big role. I remember back in the internet days and dial-up days, learning how to use just 56K dial-up was hard enough, right? And then,
Yeah.
if that wasn't working, what were you doing wrong? And but then I remember with my friends, my friend's grandfather got the internet first in our town because he was the president of the college or something. I don't know. So we went over there and we managed. He set it up for us, and it was this old compact computer, and we started looking around, just for whatever, and we're like, links, what's links, and we're like, we the terminology just wasn't there yet, and it was still like just this really weird thing that we were interacting with. Like, I think it was Windows 95 back then, and I think we were still used to Windows 3 or something like that. Which was just horrendous when you actually think about it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just crazy. Like, well, what's links? What's this? What does all this stuff mean? And it was really hard to use the internet back then. And eventually, like you said, it's all about tricking the user into realizing they're not using the internet. And eventually, a lot of things came out. You had your Skypes, MSN, AOL. There was this thing called MIRC back then that was kind of just like this chat thing that sat above the whole internet and that sort of stuff. So I think you're dead right for saying the goal here is to make sure people don't know they're using the blockchain,
Mhm.
because it's happened before, and that's where we came from, right? So that's is definitely the next goal. Um, there's a question: do you have any plans of developing Aero on iOS or Android?
Yep, that's a big focus of ours in 2022. We wanted to get the web platform out because it's a proof of concept, essentially, that we can mold and manipulate into what's going to give us the best user experience. But we're actively searching for mobile developers. I know Elrond built a lot of their stuff in React, and so React Native may be a path we explore to try to kill two birds with one stone. But the mobile app is coming, and I can't say for sure it's going to be finished by a certain date, but it is at the top of the priority list because, I mean, to be honest, everybody's on the go. having a mobile app it makes the most sense. So now that we have a foundation and we know where we're at and what we're doing, that's going to be the next step.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how blockchain kind of takes the Web 2.0 mobile first attitude and actually has to prove a web app before it goes mobile in a lot of ways, right? It's kind of
Yep.
this backwards thing, and that took me a while to understand. Is why is everyone building a web app first and then working towards mobile? And it's more just because the tools aren't there to go mobile first as
Yep.
much, right? So, but that's awesome. Really looking forward to seeing the app and getting that ease of use even one step forward, and getting your grandma on, getting some flights to go see you, or getting you flights to go see her. I don't know where she lives. um,
Yeah, she lives down the road, so
oh,
it's not
okay,
too
yeah,
bad.
yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so I guess we have no more questions. If anyone has any last minute questions, now's your time. We'll chat for another minute or two here. If a question comes up, one comes up. If one doesn't, thank you everybody for your questions. And Ryan, thank you for answering them all. I think everyone here really much appreciated your time, and I know I did. It was nice to catch up after our first talk, however many months ago it was, and see where you are now. It's rare you see people who actually do what they say they're going to do, and actually seeing you constantly put out work and constantly do your own thing is incredible. We do have one question that just came in, and that's just any estimation on when the farm in Meyer will start. And I think you kind of touched on it
Yeah.
earlier, but maybe just an official answer.
Yeah, I mean it's really not up to us. We're waiting on word from Elrond on when that's going to be possible. So as far as we're concerned, we're ready to go. But again, I know Elrond's pushing hard and doing everything they can. So we're not going to push them. They've already done so much fantastic work that we want them to take their time and do it right. So when it comes, and that's great. But in the meantime, people are welcome to stake in the wallet and things like that. So we'll definitely keep the community updated as we learn more. But yeah, we're just kind of in a holding pattern as far as that goes, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. We have one question saying when will we get a follow up AMA? Apparently another AMA.
I'm ready when you are. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully,
We'll do this every
uh,
night. We'll do this every
yeah.
night.
I mean, people are welcome to jump in Telegram or DM me on Twitter. I really make it a point to try to respond to everybody. I think it's really important. I don't want to be a big Twitter account by any means because the amount of scrutiny and you got to watch what you say. And I'm a very playful person. I'm kind of a degenerate, and I like messing around. So I know when you get those big Twitter accounts and things like that, you got to kind of watch what you say. And I don't want to get to that point, and you try to be yourself, and some people don't like that. So reach out to me anytime on any of the mediums, Telegram, Twitter, whatever. I can answer questions anytime. I enjoy conversating with the community and filling them in on what I'm doing or answering, whatever the question is. So I try to make myself always available.
Yeah, great. We have a question from Nojin, and he wants to know, will you be at NojinCon? I think we talked
Yeah,
about it earlier, but if you want to answer him.
yeah, I wouldn't miss that for the world. I'm super pumped for that. I'm a nerd at heart, so going to a NFT convention is like, yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, Nerd City. Um, yeah, and it's just someone just saying it's always nice to see a founder that's on that schedule game. So I think that you're constantly hitting milestones and all that sort of stuff. I think for me too, I think it's refreshing to see, and the transparency. I don't think there's anyone out there who doesn't value your transparency. And you were saying how you like to play around and you like to do all that in the community. I think that's the key to your charm and success. The fact that you are a regular human who's out there, and I mean, you've taken part in the "I am not a bot." Well, you called it "I'm not a bot." I think you actually gave it its name, but you took part in that, and I think the humanity piece, and we kind of talked about it earlier, is missing. And things like NojinCon and other conferences, like I think the guys at ENFT are doing one as well. And those are all going to happen, and all these in person, all these in person um, events are going to be awesome, right? And it's going to be good
Yeah.
just to see people and actually, you know, maybe have a beer with someone. There I said it. Oh, I drink beer. You know what I mean? But like,
Oh, of course.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I
so
look forward to it.
exactly.
We're real people,
Yeah.
The traditional sense of being this founder that you have to be square and professional. Um, that's just not me. I'm a real person. I make mistakes just like everybody else, but I will be the first one to own up to them and try to make it better next time. So, we'll be flying the whole team out to Nojin Con, and we'll party and we'll have fun, and it makes it real. You get outside of that tech bubble like we talked about. It's in real life, right? It's live action. So we look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope everybody else can make it too.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna wrap up and just do a quick recap of things. So today we're lucky enough to have Ryan on from Aerovek here talking about what he did in 2021, what he's doing now with Aerovec and his team, and all the good stuff in between. We've learned so much, out there about Aerovec and where it's headed. I think the community is so thankful to have you to be able to come out and say all this stuff, and actually give us that direction, and talk about things that are coming, things that have already happened, some bumps in the road. I think that's really important, and we all appreciate you for that. I will mention one more time, we did earlier, but just remember tonight that Crypto Samaritan Ryan NFT Rock NFT is dropping. I'll give you one more quick preview. Okay, there it is. That's it. And remember, one person who buys that NFT is also gonna get 1,000 Aero. So that's gonna drop on Dead Rare tonight, I believe. And remember, the profits to all of that go towards helping feed the hungry.
Yeah, very good cause. If you guys haven't looked into Crypto Samaritans yet, please do. They're out there feeding the hungry, so they're doing God's work, and we couldn't be more thankful for them and the partnership that we're growing together. So really look forward to that.
Yeah, yeah. Good work, girls. Keep it up.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you one more time. And hopefully, in another couple months, we'll do this again and we'll have more exciting stuff to talk about.
Definitely, Kevin. I appreciate it, man. True professional, as always. You make these things so easy. So thank you and Helios and the whole crew. It's been a blast, and we'll look forward to doing it again.
Yep. Thanks, guys. See you, everybody.